Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're going to now finish our finance section dealing with mortgages. So this is 7.4. It's the continuation of the same file that you had for 7.3. This is called Conditions of a Mortgage. Ignore the textbook work that was here because you don't have a textbook. For you guys, your work is on page 136. And again, because it's dealing with mortgages, you have to use the TVM online calculator in order to do the questions. You're going to find your work on page 136. I'd like you to try 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so not all of them, but this is definitely going to help you, especially when it comes to now converting what we learned as a monthly payment. So if you remember from the previous lesson, we always calculate a mortgage first based on a monthly payment. This lesson is now going to teach you what you can do with that monthly payment. So there are many options when you pay down a mortgage. Not everybody decides to pay by month, once a month. Some people, like I said, decide to pay every other week because that's the way they get paid at their work. Some people decide to pay every week. So it's important that we're able now to convert this monthly payment into what we actually want. And sometimes people, like I said, don't want a 25-year mortgage. Some people want a 20-year or a 15-year because they know they're going to pay less interest in the long run. So let's go through some terminology and we're going to see how it all folds out. So pre-approved. Now, it makes sense when you're going to buy your first place, or any place for that matter, that you go to the bank first before you start looking and you determine what is the maximum amount that you can borrow. You can't just walk into the bank and say, I need $2 million to buy this house. So you need to be able to go in. They look at all your financials. They look at your pay. They look at a lot of things, your credit rating, and they decide, okay, this is the maximum amount every month that you can put aside to pay for a mortgage. And that's going to dictate what the house can cost in total. That's your pre-approval. So it's based on your finances and your credit score. So that means you show that you're good at paying down your bills on time. You don't have anything outstanding. So that's important to get. Everybody can get that done. Now, how you decide to pay. You can decide to take that monthly payment and turn it into a semi-monthly payment, which means you pay twice a month. Okay, so semi-monthly means twice a month. So that means the payments per year, if I'm paying twice a month and there's 12 months, so I pay once on the 15th and once on the 30th of every month, that means my PY is going to be 24. So 2 times a month, every month. Some people, though, decide to pay what's called biweekly. So biweekly and semi-monthly are not the same. So what happens in biweekly is that you make your payment every other week. So it's not twice a month, it's every other week. Not the months don't have 4 weeks. They have 4 weeks and a couple of extra days, right? So months tend to have 30 or 31 days. That's not 28 days. So because of that, when you pay every other week, you end up paying a little bit more in the year towards your actual mortgage. And a lot of people like this because that's the way they get paid at work every other week. So a payment is made every 2 weeks. The amount of the payment is your monthly, right? So 12 months times your monthly payment divided by 26. Now, why is it 26? Because there's 52 weeks in a year and you're not paying every week, so it's not divided by 52, it's divided by every other week, so 26 bi-weekly payments. So again, how do we get your bi-weekly payment? We take your monthly and we end up timesing it for the year and then dividing it by 26. Now, if you go further on, we have something called accelerated biweekly. So this is what a lot of people choose. This is a very, very common option. So instead of taking your monthly payment and timesing it by 12 and dividing by 26, which is what we just saw, here you take that monthly payment and you cut it in half. So you're taking the semi-monthly payment, basically, and you take that and you're paying it 26 times. So you're paying more money each of those 26 times than you would if it was regular biweekly. Okay, so there's a slight difference there in how we calculate it. And that means since you're paying more money on each payment, more of the money goes towards the principal, which means you pay down your mortgage faster because more money goes towards the principal than towards interest. So the word accelerated doesn't mean you're paying more often. You're still only paying 26 times, right? You're still paying 26 times per year. It's just the amount of money increases in each payment. Some people, like I said, decide to pay weekly. So you make a payment every week. It comes out of your account. How do you calculate weekly payment? You take the monthly payment, you times it by 12, because that gives you them for the full year, and then you divide it by 52. 52 weeks in a year. That gives you your basic weekly payment. But just like we have accelerated biweekly, we have accelerated weekly. So what does that mean? Accelerated weekly, instead of taking the monthly, timesing it by 12, dividing by 52, we take the monthly, so monthly, and we divide it by 4. And that's what the person pays 52 times a year. So again, remember, payments per year are still 52. That's not changing. You're still paying 52 times a year in both cases. What makes this accelerated is now you're paying more money. Here you took the monthly, you times it by 12, and you divide it by 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year. So we converted it to the year, the annual, right? Month times 12 divided by 52. That was how you do basic weekly. For accelerated weekly, we take the month and we divide it by 4. So we're assuming 4 weeks, which means this amount is going to be higher than this amount. And because this amount is higher, a little bit more goes towards principal. So you end up paying down, again, your mortgage a little bit faster this way. So that's what the word accelerated means. Okay, so again, semi-monthly, we just take the monthly and we divide it in 2. That's all we do. For regular biweekly, just regular, we take the monthly, we times it by 12 to get the full year, and because it's biweekly, we divide it by 26. Accelerated biweekly, we take the monthly, but we cut it in half. So we don't times it by 12 and divide by 26. We take this amount and we do it 26 times. So already you can see it's going to be a higher number. Regular weekly, monthly times 12 divided by 52. Accelerated weekly, monthly cut into 4. Okay, so that's how we calculate those various amounts. Now let's actually try it in a question. Danny and Kyoko receive approval from their bank for a pre-approved mortgage of $167,000 for the townhouse they wish to purchase. The current interest rate for a 5-year fixed is 6.09. So this was a couple of years ago when interest rates were that high. Determine the monthly payment on a 20-year amortization period. So their mortgage is $167,000. That is how much money the bank is going to give them. The interest rate was 6.09. They're going to spread their loan out for 20 years. So monthly for 20 years, 12 times 20. The payment is what we're figuring out, no future value, payments per year. You always figure it out on a monthly basis first, so it's 12. Compounding, 2. Always for a mortgage when you start off. So, graphing calculator, TVM solver. So up here, 12 times 20 for 240, 6.09, 167,000 was their mortgage. We don't know the payment, 12 and 2. Next to payment, 100, so $1,197.80 out of their pocket every month. So their monthly payment is going to be $1,197.80. Calculate the total they paid. Okay, so they're going to pay 1197. How much did they actually pay for this house? 1197, or on this mortgage. 1197.80, 240 times, right? 12 times 20. So 1197.80 times 240 is 287,472. So that's how much they've actually paid back. Remember, they only received 167,000. So they've paid more than that back. So they've more than doubled their mortgage. Now, calculate the monthly payment though. What if they decide, you know what, that's too much interest. We don't want to pay all that money. So why don't we try to speed it up and pay for 15 years? So make the loan for a shorter period of time. So what happens is they're still paying monthly, but now they're doing it for 15 years. It was still 6.09%, still the same 167,000 that they borrowed. We don't know that. We're not using that. Payments per year, still 12 for monthly and still compounded semi-annually. So the only thing you need to change is your N. 12 times for 15 years. So now 180 payments. They need to finish this loan in 180 payments. When you go down to payment, the payment's going to increase quite a bit. So now the payment is $1,410.52. So just by decreasing by 5 years, their monthly payment jumps up by $300 pretty much. So $1,410.52. So if they can manage this and it's not going to be too difficult for them, this would be a better idea, because now when you look at how much they're going to pay back, this $1,410.52 times 180 payments, right? Once a month for 15 years. $1,410.52 times 180 is $253,893.60. Make sure you have the 2 decimal places. So obviously 253 is much better than 287, right? So just by changing that 20 years to 15 years, compare your answers. How much more is the monthly payment for the 15-year mortgage? So $1,410.52 minus, what was the other one? $1,197.80. $1,410.52 minus $1,197.80, $212.72 more. So that's how much more they're spending every month by choosing this option. But now, how much less would they pay in interest? So the interest saved. Why would somebody choose 15 years over 20 years? Is because that $287,472, we're going to minus the $253,893.60. So $287,472 minus $253,893.60. They're saving $33,578.40. So that's why decreasing the amortization of your mortgage really saves you a lot of money. That's 5 years difference, and that's how much they saved in total. So that stays in their pocket, right? That doesn't go to the bank. So if you can do it by paying an extra $212 every month, if you're not going to notice it that much, then it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that was changing the amortization. But like we said before, people also decide to change how frequently they pay. So Mike's monthly mortgage is $1,250.87. So it's already telling me how much he's paying every month. So we don't have to calculate that. He was advised that he could pay down the mortgage faster by changing how frequently he pays. Determine his new payment in each case. Calculate the total amount paid in 1 year. So we're going to show our calculation, how much each payment's going to be, and the amount that he's paying over the entire year if he chooses that payment. And obviously, which one will bring his mortgage down the fastest. So we're going to practice these formulas. So There's no calculation for monthly. We're just going to use the $1250.87. There's nothing to do there. So if he pays $1250.87 in 1 year, so we're going to take $1250.87 times 12. How much did he spend on his mortgage that year? Since it was monthly, $15,010 and 44 cents. Okay, so that's how much he spent if he just does the regular monthly. Now semi-monthly, what do? We take the month and we divide it by 2. So $1250.87 divided by 2. That's $625 over here and 44 cents. So if you're going to pay $625.44 semi-monthly, that means 24 times, right? So we're going to times that by 24. And you should end up with the same amount. So 15, 10, 56. So a difference in a few pennies. That's because of the rounding. So 15,010, 15,010. So by changing to a semi-monthly payment, you're not paying extra money over the year. It comes out to the same amount. Now, bi-weekly. To take the bi-weekly, what we do is we take the monthly, we times it by 12 to get the year, and we divide it by 26 because there's 26 bi-weekly payments in a year. So what does that look like? $1250.87 times 12 divided by 26. So in your calculator, regular calculator, 1250.87 times 12 gives you the full year's amount, which is this number, and then we divide it by 26 portions, and that gives us $577.32. So if you're going to pay $577.32 26 times, $577.32, it should be that 1510 number again. So $1510.32. So again, you're not paying more money overall. It's the same amount, $1510, $1510, $1510. Now, accelerated. What this means is what we're going to do is we're going to take the monthly amount and we're not going to times it by 12 to get biweekly. We're just going to cut it in half. So accelerated biweekly. Biweekly still means 26 times a year. How we're going to do this is 1250.87 cut in half. And you're going to get the semi-monthly payment of $625.44. It should be the same answer. But the only difference is over here, the $625.44 is not going to happen 24 times. You're going to do it 26 times because that's how many bi-weekly portions, 52 weeks every other week. So 26 payments in the year. And this is now where you see the change. $16,261.44. So obviously that's more money. You've spent more money over the year on your mortgage. You put more money on your mortgage, which means this is how much you have to. If you do anything extra, it goes down to pay the loan faster. So you see that extra $1,200, $1,261 difference, that's what pays down your mortgage faster. That's why it's called accelerated. Now, if we were going to do basic weekly, we know that there's 52 weeks in a year. It doesn't matter if it's regular or accelerated. There's only 52 weeks in a year. But to get the regular weekly payment, regular weekly is the monthly times 12 divided by 52. So 1250.87 times 12 divided by 52 is 288.66. So 288.66 each week for 52 weeks. Again, gives you your 15,010 number, and it's about 44 cents approximately. So again, the same. It's just what your preference is, right? Do you want to pay every week $288? Would you rather pay every other week $577? Would you rather pay twice a month? Would you rather pay once a month? Now again, the accelerated option is we take the month and we just divide it by 4. So we take the full month amount, the $1250.87 that we would get using the TMV solver, and we cut it into 4 chunks. And that is $312.72. So now you're paying more every week than you did regularly. See the difference? $288 a week versus $312 a week. So this $312.72, 52 times, is $16,261.44. So you can see that this and this are the same. The accelerated biweekly and the accelerated weekly, you end up gaining the same amount of money towards your principal. So this is why people choose the accelerated option, because you don't really feel the difference. $577 versus $625. You're still paying the same frequency at the same time. It's just the amount that's going out of your account is slightly different. Instead of $288 a week, you spend $312 a week. That little bit difference ends up making a big difference at the end of the year, and spread over 20 years, 25 years, it's a huge difference. And you end up saving so much in terms of interest. So it's very important that you look at these other options. You don't have to pay your mortgage back monthly. We always calculate the monthly first, and based on this number, we get all of our other numbers. So you always have to calculate monthly first using the TMV solver that you've seen us do now multiple times. Okay, so now last question that's now going to hopefully put it all together for you. Arnold bought a home 5 years ago and now his mortgage is up for renewal. Determine the weekly payment for a mortgage. So he still owes $183,000 at 5.39% over 20 years. So you're noticing that it's saying calculate the weekly payment. We have to get his monthly payment first. It doesn't matter what he wants to pay, how frequently he wants to pay. We have to determine what the monthly payment will be, and then we will convert it later to weekly. So that's what this first box is for. So weekly payment. So that means he's going to pay 52 times, because that's, 12 times for the month for 20 years. Okay, so 12 times 20. 5.39 is the interest. The loan that he still owes is $183,000. Payment is what we're trying to figure out. We're not using future value. Payments per year, 12, because it's monthly. Semi-annual. Okay, so 12 times 20, 240, 5.39, 183,000, 12 and 2. Go back up to payment, alpha, enter, 1241.37. So minus 1241.37. 1241.37. Remember, the minus is just because it's coming out of his account. Yeah. So now we're going to change it to weekly. So basic weekly. So what would a weekly payment then look like? Well, it would be the month times 12 divided by 52, right? That's how we change a monthly payment into a weekly payment. So that's 1241.37 times 12 divided by 52. 1241.37 times 12 equals divided by 52 weeks in a year. His weekly payment would be $286.45. Okay, so that's how much he's going to spend every week on his mortgage. Arnold plans to increase his monthly payment to $1,600. So this is how much the bank requires of him, but he's actually going to pay more. He says, yeah, I can actually put aside $1,600. How much time will this take off his loan? So that's what this next box is for. So he's going to pay $1,600. So the payment coming out of his pocket is $1,600 minus, right? So negative $1,600. He still has to pay off a $183,000 loan. That hasn't changed. It's still 5.39%. We don't need future value. Payments again, monthly. Everything's always monthly. Remember to start. Semi-annual compounding always. N is what we're trying to solve for. So we're trying to figure out how many years is he now going to pay. Instead of 20, this should drop down quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to input everything. We're going to put a 0 where the N is, because that's what we need. 5.39, 183,000 still. Negative 1,600. Again, the negative key is down below in the gray. Use the negative sign, not the subtract key. 12 and 2. Go back up to N. Alpha, enter. And you end up with a number 160.05. So that is how many payments. Remember, that's total payments. That's not years. So because we were paying monthly, as we always do to start, divide out the 12. So 160.05, you can keep the 0.05, divided by 12 is 13.3 years. So look at that. 20 years became now 13.3 years. So he saved, because it says how much time will it now take him to pay off his loans. So he saves almost 7 years, right? 20 minus 13. So he almost saved 7 years of payments just by bumping up what the minimum payment is from the bank, $1,241.37. He's gonna set aside $1,600, and you can do that, and you can see how much now you're gonna save. So you can imagine all the interest that you're saving if you're not paying this loan for 7 extra years. Then you don't need to pay it. So that's very important to know too, that not only can you change your payment schedule to increase how quickly you pay off your loan, but you can also change the amount. Just because the monthly amount comes to this, you can actually pay back more usually every month. So provided you're disciplined enough and you're good at saving and you keep yourself on a budget and a schedule, just because they ask for this, you can probably give them more. But once you say you're going to do that, you have to continue to do that. So it can't just be a one-time thing. All right, so give your questions a try. So again, page 136, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 10. And let me know. It's very, 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 very useful and good questions to try and understand, because you're probably going to find yourself buying some sort of property in the near future and you want to know this stuff. All right, so let me know if you have any questions.